Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Saiwo, and it's nice to have you guys here. In this video, we'll be talking about cloud computing with focus on Microsoft Azure, and basically, we'll be looking at some of the features that we have on in Microsoft Azure, basically for developers. And yeah, a few things about me. My name is Taiwo once again, and I'm a computer security engineer, certified Microsoft trainer, certified Microsoft Azure administrator, Aviatrix certified engineer, which include AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud platform, and the Oracle OCI. So that's why you can see multi-cloud network associate there, and that's just that about me. And presently, undergoing my study in computer forensics and security. So expect some analysis, guys, in security. So in this training content, we'll be talking about the Azure fundamentals, the storage, web apps, cloud service, the virtual machines, media services, and Azure storage. And um, so yeah, when it comes to the network sorry, cloud computing market share, AWS, which is for Amazon, actually has the largest share in the market, about 40%, 32% in the market. But Microsoft Azure, which started 4 years, some 4 years after AWS started, which was in 2010, um, have been trying to close up the gap between them and AWS, and that has been going pretty well. Right now, they stand at 19%, where Amazon has like 32% of the market, and it is being projected by 2024. Things should be kind of stringent in the competition race for the market share. So by then we would see, but most likely Microsoft Azure would be closer, if not on the same par with AWS, and that is why it is worth all the energy to actually invest into this technology. Because if you look into job requirements these days, hardly can you not see recruiters asking for AWS or Azure knowledge. Most of some of them still request for GCP or OCI, but most times you would see AWS and Azure, and it is worth the try to actually boost your knowledge about this technology. And yeah, that's that. So we're talking about cloud computing. Cloud computing basically is um, like outsourcing your needs to another company to actually take care of them, instead of you actually thinking about those things. The company is doing that for you, and all you need to do is just pay them for what they are doing. They provide stuff like storage, and where you can access your data and programs, all this over the internet, instead of you actually having them on your servers or local hard drive. Also, in cloud computing, you make use of virtualized computing platform, which actually provides infinite resources for you to run your applications, and this has increased or boosted the features of cloud computing, which has made them flexible. Cloud computing is so flexible that you all you need to do is just click few buttons, and yeah, there you go. If you, let's say for instance, you have Windows 2019 server, and all you need is just one instead of probably four that you have in your data center. In your data center, you, yes, you can put off the remaining and have one, but you are still responsible for maintenance. If anything happens to those servers, you'll be fully responsible for anything you do on them. But in cloud computing, if you need just one server and probably you were deploying four, you can deprovision those three servers where you just where you run just one server, and that would save costs instead of thinking about maintenance and all those. So that makes it flexible, and elasticity on demand comes into play. So, and in cloud computing, you only pay for what you need. If you get charged for what you do not use, maybe by chance, you can easily raise a service request through their excellent customer service. I've been a witness to this through AWS and Azure with their great customer service. Um, Also, you have infinite access to computing resources and services. Most times, what these companies do is they carry out credit check. If once they can certify like you have the ability to pay for the services, they increase your threshold and things that you can request for, and that is actually a big plus. Also, traditional way of storage and cloud computing way. As mentioned earlier, in the traditional way, which is you having a data center, you have to buy servers and different servers, loads of servers, which means you have to worry yourself about contingency plans and different things. You have to plan ahead and say, oh, you might actually need so number of servers in the future. Say I would be needing let's say we need 20 servers now, and we are projecting that in the future we'll be needing 25 or 30. That is you buying extra 10 servers that you don't need at that moment, and that is costly. But in cloud computing, you need 20, you deploy 20 at that moment. You need 25, you scale it up. You need 19, you scale it down. So it is quite easy, and the flexibility in cloud computing is mind blowing, and you only pay for what you use. Some of the risk in the traditional cloud computing is risk of you over provisioning and under provisioning. When you have, as I mentioned earlier, you already projected that you would be needing 25 servers in the nearest future, and probably you're in the nearest future, and the servers are still dormant. One, you've wasted money in purchasing what you don't need. You are still wasting money on maintaining them. So you are under provisioning them, you are underutilizing your resources. While you can have this easily on Microsoft Azure or AWS, or any cloud platform you want to use, and make it easier for yourself by just scaling up and scaling down. That is very flexible. And you can also over provision. Say you have two servers doing what three or four servers should be doing. That can actually weigh them down, and when your server stops, your services stop, and your business might actually suffer. But in cloud computing, when there's a service outage, you can easily raise a service request for service interruption charges, and you get this. They call it SIE under Azure, and yeah, that's that. So cloud computing models, we have different ones like the IaaS, the PaaS, and the SaaS. Most of us actually make use of the SaaS. Even as you're watching YouTube, you're making use of the SaaS because you only have the software, but probably you paid for the service, yes. And most of us, or some of us, we have the Google Drive that we use on our phones. That is an example of SaaS. So let's look into in-depth analysis of these. IaaS provides infrastructure level capabilities over the internet, and they provide various services, and some of them are that means the cloud computing platform will be providing you with the virtual machines, the storage, the networking, firewall, and security, where you have your NSG You are responsible for setting your NSG actually, and which sorry NSG is network security group. They provide you with the operating systems and the load balancers. All these all these are mind blowing with just which means you only pay for what you use. But basically, when you want to provision when you want to provision a virtual machine, obviously you need a storage, you need where to save your data, you need networking, firewalls, and security. There's no way there can be interconnection without networking. You need an operating system and you need load balancer. So you having a virtual machine gives you all of this. You do not pay for firewall and security if you are using the basic ones. Operating systems, if you don't pay for that too, and you can even reduce your cost under Azure if you have a license. I think by 40% or thereabouts. PaaS, which is platform as a service. This is basically for developers and also for people that are into database management. This provides different services such as with servers, storage, middleware, development tools, business intelligence services like Power BI, database management systems, and it is designed to support the complete web application lifecycle, which means building, testing, deploying, management, and updating of whatever you want to do is actually quite easy for you. All you need is just to deploy this, and that is quite interesting because you don't need to worry much about different things because you have your provider providing this for you, and that is top notch. And to the last one, which is software as a service, here the provider would provide you with connection to the cloud-based applications over the internet. An example is your Gmail. It is an example of SaaS, which is software as a service. You use it to receive your emails. You don't care about where Google has their servers. You don't care about where anything is. All you care about is receiving your own email, and that is an example of software as a service. Here's a pictorial representation of all we've been trying to discuss. Under IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service, the providers are concerned with virtualization, servers, storage, and networking. You would notice that the operating system was not selected. That's because there's actually a gray area there. If you have a license, they are providing it here, but the license is actually dependent on two things. If you have a license, you won't pay for license. That means they won't be charging you for that, and you'll be responsible because you have a license that you're providing, and you'll be charged less. And if you don't have a license, that will be added to the bills when you're receiving your bill at the end of the month or at the end of the billing cycle. Um, Here you are responsible for the applications, the data you bring, the runtime. You can decide to put it on, put it off. You're totally responsible for that, and depends on what whatever application you have running on the infrastructure, and you are responsible for the middleware too. So for PaaS, which is platform as a service, you're only responsible for two things: the applications and the data, while the cloud providers are responsible for your runtime, the middleware, the operating system, the virtualization, the servers, storage, networking, pretty much everything. And SaaS is where you are not responsible for anything. All you need to do is come as you are. Everything has been provided. Just bring your own data. So they are responsible for applications, responsible for data, responsible for runtime, responsible for middleware, your operating system, virtualization, servers, storage, networking. An example also is Apple Music or Spotify. You do not have any music on it. All you need to do is just search for what you need and you have it. So, with the focus on Microsoft Azure, um, Azure provides comprehensive set of services that allows you to build, host, and scale up your application. So they provide you with IaaS and also with PaaS, and sometimes with SaaS, but not fully. But their major strength is PaaS and IaaS. So some of the commonly used services that they have are web apps, which is if you're trying to deploy a website, you can actually host them on Azure. If you can have your storage on Azure with different kind of storage like blob storage, file, and what have you, table, different ones. They're responsible for the cloud services, the virtual machines, the media services, Azure Search, Azure Active Directory, and Service Bus. So let's look into some of these. So the web apps service would provide you with a platform as a service, which is PaaS, and is an approach for hosting applications. It can be web pages or web services. It depends on various mechanism for managing all aspects of your web application lifecycle, which can include your deployment, your configuration, your monitoring, health and diagnostics, and scaling. There's something wonderful about Azure. You can easily check the the interface is quite, 'cause most of the because I've had a look into um, the popular cloud computing providers, and I must say that Azure has one of the best interface when you're talking about cloud computing interface. They actually have one of the best interface, and it is quite easy to navigate and also to understand what you are actually doing. No offense to every other platform. Is This is just my bias. The platform is just quite easy and to navigate, and that's actually a plus from my side. So, talking about the Azure storage, Azure storage plays an important role in the Microsoft Azure PaaS strategy because it enables storage and retrieval of large amounts of unstructured data. That is where you have your blob service, as I mentioned earlier. You have the table service, the queue service, and the file service. The blob service is actually one of the big things in Microsoft Azure because it let the developers to store their unstructured data in the cloud platform, and this can be accessed anywhere in the world, and it can include the audio, video, and text, and they can be grouped into containers titled to the taste of the developer, and it is quite easy to actually get here. All you need to do is just click on the storage link, and you click on blob storage, and there you go. And the storage is also pay as you go, as mentioned earlier. And okay, you can actually if your say your enterprise or your company is actually um, in agreement with Azure, because you have different subscriptions too. So if they have like enterprise agreement with Microsoft, it is quite easy, quite affordable or cheap for developers using it. So, looking at cloud service, which is also a part of their services, which is under PaaS. This offers ability to deploy websites, synchronous work for Azure servers with simpler deployment options. It's also a way for parking, deploying, and configuring one or more websites, and with different web roles. And this is for developers. You might actually want to look into this too. Host your website on Azure. Talking about IaaS, a part where Microsoft is trying to have strong hold on. and pretty much based on the different predictions, this might actually happen in the next 4 years. But let's see how things play between them and AWS. This can allow Windows Server and Linux based workloads, and that's something beautiful about Azure too. Yeah, it's everywhere, but I try like the way it works on Azure because you have pretty much all the operating system that you want on Azure, and it is just a beautiful sight to behold. And the marketplace is filled with different things you actually want to you'd like to have access to, and the billing is not expensive if you, but everything is dependent on region. Most times when you have the East US region, you have which is actually the one of the most affordable regions, you have considerably low bill when you choose that region. But everything is dependent again on your region. If for instance you are in the say you are in Germany, most likely you would want to select West Europe because that would reduce the latency for you. So everything is dependent on region. So, media services as one of the features in Azure. This provides the services to build media management and delivery applications. This is based on REST API, and that enables you to securely upload, store, encode, and package your video content on demand and live streaming to various clients. So, Microsoft Azure is actually embedded with different features. These are just some of the features that they have. Of course, we can't dive in deeply into everything. Just a touch to introduce most of the people that are still in doubt or do not want to have the belief that cloud platform is actually worth um, taking into account. This is actually a big thing for everyone because very soon this would be on demand, like more than on demand as it is right now. And as we can see, as I mentioned earlier, like job requirements are requesting for this. If you are going into IT, you just have to know about all these things. So the last service, which is Azure Search, which provides you with search solution, allowing developers to incorporate great search experience into the application, make use of data source, indexes, and search query. For developers mostly, Azure has really provided different services for them to make life easier for them, and you just there's just no hiding place for you guys. You just need to focus on Azure and make life easier for yourselves. And lastly, second to last, where we have the Active Directory. This is for the system administrators. It is quite easy for you to integrate your your company's Active Directory into Azure, Azure Active Directory, which is Azure AD. It has different scenario like corporate access to your software as a service application. Say you have your SaaS and you like for instance you have the Microsoft Intune. You do not want to be signing in like with all your details. All you just need is your single sign on um, turned in, and that would actually work when you have your Active Directory synced with your Azure AD, which is Azure Active Directory. And also it helps with application authentication, user management. Even if you're into security, that is a big plus on Microsoft's side too. Also, I'm looking into attaining my Azure security by the end of the month, and I hope to share with you guys very soon. So so lastly, we have this service bus where we it's like the information delivery service used for communication between various applications, and the three ways for communication is actually through queues, topics, and and relays. This is actually a big plus for Microsoft again. For our developers, especially if you're into RDBMS, which is relative database management. This is a fully managed enterprise message broker with queues and public subscribe topics, and this is used to decouple applications and services from each other, and providing different benefits such as load balancing work across computing workers, and this is actually a big plus again for the developers. And this is, I think, basically when we talk about the past, it is more on the side for developers, and it actually makes life easier for them. And the next video I'll be making, I'll be talking about security related issues in Azure, and also malware analysis, looking at alternative for um IDA Pro, which is NSA tool, which is open source, which you don't need to pay for. So we'll be looking into this. I look forward to your comments in the comment section. Thank you guys. Bye.